This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 1558, A Loving Nudge Toward Healthier Habits, by Joshua Becker of BecomingMinimalist.com, and I'm Dr. Neil. Hey there, welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, or welcome for the first time if you're new here. This is the podcast where I act as your very own personal narrator and read to you from some of the most popular health and fitness blogs online. Now, before we get to it, Pendulum Therapeutics is the first and only biotech company to isolate an important beneficial bacterial strain and put that strain into a convenient, new, probiotic-rich capsule to help manage type 2 diabetes and nurture your body's microbiome. It can feel like an uphill battle to keep post-meal blood sugar and A1C levels where you need them. Pendulum Glucose Control can help. Take control of your glucose levels. Use code OHD at pendulumlife.com to get 20% off all products. All right, and with that, let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. A Loving Nudge Toward Healthier Habits, by Joshua Becker of BecomingMinimalist.com. As the pandemic evolves and expands and contracts across the globe, a blog post appropriate for one country may not be appropriate for another. As a result, I've been left wondering on how to talk about it. But there is a conversation I feel burdened in my heart to share with you. My guess is that the subject matter will resonate with many. But if it doesn't, maybe there's still something worthwhile you can pull from it. I hope that's the case. I'm noticing an important trend, at least in America, the increase of unhealthy habits during this pandemic. For example, television viewing has increased to 41 hours per week on average, which is up almost 30%. Americans spend twice as much money online shopping since the pandemic began. For 8 consecutive weeks, beer sales have topped $1 billion, the highest ever. Cigarette smoking has made a comeback during the pandemic. Video game usage has increased 50%. Unhealthy sleep patterns have emerged for 67% of Americans. And over the course of the pandemic, 76% of Americans have gained weight. Catherine Price, author of How to Break Up with Your Phone and contributor to Simplify magazine, made an important observation in a recent interview for Freedom. Speaking about the current pandemic, she said this, quote, "It's hard to focus when your anxiety is high, and this is a time of high anxiety. Physiologically speaking, this is partially due to the effects that stress has on our brains. Namely, the part of our brain that is responsible for rational decision-making tends to be less active when we are stressed out. It sort of hides under a rock, leaving us less able to resist our impulses. For example, to check the news again and again and again when we're supposed to be working." End quote. Catherine was speaking in this context about why it's hard to focus during times of high anxiety. But the connection can also be made to healthy habits, which typically require focus and intentionality. I've learned that when we are not intentional with our time and focus, unhealthy habits emerge. In fact, I have seen them emerge in my own life over the last several months. My guess, based on some of the statistics mentioned, I am not alone. This is a period of high anxiety for all of us, and as a result, unhealthy habits are beginning to emerge and take root in our lives. We need to notice this and begin nudging ourselves toward healthier habits. How then do we keep healthy habits part of our lives, especially as the anxiety continues to loom? How to keep healthy habits active. 1. Remember that your life is valuable. The crisis that surrounds us at times reminds us of our smallness. There is little that most of us can do to stop the anxiety on a global scale. However, that should not detract from the inherent value of your individual life. You are unique and special and bring a joy into the world that only you can bring. Remind yourself how important you are to the people around you and allow that fact to motivate you to make the most of every day and every hour. 2. Count every day precious. The days for you may be long or short, extra busy or extra lonely. Or maybe they run all together so that you hardly remember what day of the week it is. Regardless, every day is still precious. Every sunrise is a gift. an opportunity to make the most of your day ahead. Remind yourself to not waste any of them. 3. Be firm with yourself. Do take note on regular occasion how you are going to be responsible with your days and energy and your focus. At some point, we need to step outside ourselves and evaluate if we are allowing unhealthy habits to take root in our lives. If so, we must be firm with ourselves in identifying those unhealthy habits and committing to be intentional when removing them. 4. Be patient with yourself. The times, indeed, are new. And as Catherine points out, there are very real physiological changes taking place in our body because of the increased stress levels. So, it's smart to be patient with ourselves as we seek to remove any unhealthy habits that have emerged in our lives. 5. Embrace a 3-item to-do list for healthy habits. I discovered the 3-item to-do list several years ago and have loved it ever since. In a workplace, the 3-item to-do list seeks to recognize the 3 most important tasks to complete each day. The 3 tasks, when completed, allow you to feel accomplished about your day. In the same way, trending toward healthy habits can be encouraged by applying the 3-item to-do list approach. What are the 3 actions or non-actions you most want to incorporate into your day? For example, 1. Read for 30 minutes. 2. Call 1 friend. And 3. Eat 2 servings of vegetables. 3 items, 3 habits to incorporate each day to keep your life trending toward healthy habits. I recommend a daily routine that includes a physical habit like exercise, a mental habit like reading or mind puzzles, and a social habit. 6. Look for opportunities to control what you can. When the world feels out of control is when it's most important to take back control wherever you can. You have little control over a virus outbreak on the other side of the world, but you do have control over what time you go to bed, what time you wake up, and whether you take a shower in the morning. To help overcome anxiety and regain rational decision-making, control what you can. You may discover it's more than you think. And 7, ask for help. Community and accountability are important, especially in a time of increased isolation. And many of your friends are struggling to keep healthy habits as well, so include them in your nudge. Challenge your friend to exercise when you do, or become your pen pal, or trade some healthy recipe ideas. When you share your journey and plans with others, you become more accountable to accomplish them, and you end up encouraging others to live their best life too. I'm noticing in my life, the longer the abnormal nature of life persists, the more difficult it is to stay healthy and focused on my habits. However, despite the pandemic, tomorrow is no less valuable than a day last year, and your one life is no less important to the world than it was before. So keep living your best one. Consider this just a loving nudge toward healthy habits in your life. You just listened to the post titled, A Loving Nudge Toward Healthier Habits by Joshua Becker of BecomingMinimalist.com. There's a lot of confusing health information out there. Biased and impersonal information is everywhere you look. So, if you want a more personalized approach to your health with science-backed recommendations for positive lifestyle and diet changes, check out Inside Tracker. They were founded back in 2009 by leading scientists in aging, genetics, and biometrics from MIT, Tufts, and Harvard. And their mission is to improve the health span of people everywhere so they can enjoy longer, healthier lives. They do that by analyzing your body's data with their patented algorithm, and then giving you a customized action plan to help you reach your potential. And your progress is tracked every day. Inside Tracker is the guide illuminating your path towards your personal best, with a clearer picture than you've ever had before of what's going on inside your body. For a limited time, you can get 25% off the entire Inside Tracker store. Just go to insidetracker.com/OHD. That's insidetracker.com/OHD for 25% off the entire Inside Tracker store. And a big thank you to Joshua. He is an author, speaker, and philanthropist. He's written several best-selling books on minimalism, and his website, Becoming Minimalist, has more than 1 million readers each month. Inspired by his wife's experience being adopted, Joshua founded The Hope Effect in 2015. And since today is Giving Tuesday, we want to help support The Hope Effect. You might not know that there are an estimated 15.1 million orphans worldwide, with 2.7 million of them living in orphanages. And there's growing research on the damaging physical and psychological effects of traditional institutional orphan care. When children do not receive adequate personal interaction with a loving environment, development is stunted, and learning abilities are delayed or lost. Many kids age out only to face a future of crime, prostitution, or trafficking. The Hope Effect is changing orphan care by providing family-based solutions. Loving, family-style care provides opportunities for each child to flourish and thrive. Access to health, dental, and social care is provided while each child is prepared for the future through education, responsibility, support, and the structure that parents were designed to provide. If you want to help support The Hope Effect, they have a Giving Tuesday donation page, hopeeffect.com/GivingTuesday2021. And I have that linked in this episode's description. And all of us thank you for your support. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. Now, it's very true. When we're stressed out, our ability to focus on our health starts to go away. It's because when we're stressed, our brains are built to only think about our immediate survival, not our long-term survival. Think about the stress response in our prehistoric ancestors. If they felt stress, it probably wasn't because they were worried about paying taxes. It was probably because they just encountered a very real threat, like being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Once the tiger was gone, so was the stress. But in that stressed moment, our ancestors were just trying to survive that moment. But now we have all sorts of real and imaginary stressors. And yet our physiological stress response hasn't changed. We still have traces of our ancestors' prehistoric brains that say to us, forget about tomorrow, we just have to survive right now. That's what makes the advice today's author Joshua shared with us so perfect. It allows us to stop that prehistoric part of our brain from taking over and saying, wait a second, this source of stress can be dealt with. After all, I'm not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Once we've realized this, we can remove ourselves from those stressful thoughts and start to think a bit more clearly about what really matters, and hopefully not get caught up in the cycle of stressful thoughts. All right, that's it for today. Have a great Giving Tuesday. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back here tomorrow as usual. So I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.